The much-anticipated inauguration of Ram Temple in Ayodhya is the big story of the day. The Ram Lala idol was consecrated at the Ayodhya Temple with the Indian Prime Minister leading the Pran Pratishtha or the consecration ceremony. Take a look at the report about the significance of the moment that is being hailed as a new dawn in India's cultural landscape.
सदियों की प्रतीक्षा के बाद हमारे राम आ गए हैं।
This is the moment when the idol of Ram Lalla was unveiled, with the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi leading the sacred rituals. With folded hands, a prayer on his lips. The sanctum sanctorum infused with the spirit of divinity, an all-pervading feeling of piety, devotion and worship. The idol of Lord Ram stands as a 5-year-old child with a smile on his face, holding a golden bow and arrow.
इस शुभ घड़ी की आप सभी को, समस्त देशवासियों को बहुत बहुत बधाई। मैं अभी गर्भगृह में ईश्वरीय चेतना का साक्षी बनकर आपके सामने उपस्थित हुआ हूं।
The Ram Temple in Ayodhya filled with Mangal Dhwani, sounds of auspicious music from different musical instruments brought from across the country, signifying the unifying theme of the consecration ceremony. With the consecration, the Prime Minister ended an 11-day rigorous fast, hailing the moment as a milestone for the nation, invoking spirituality and hailing science.
मैं अपने देश के युवाओं से कहूंगा, आपके सामने हजारों वर्ष की परंपरा की प्रेरणा है। आप भारत की उस पीढ़ी का प्रतिनिधित्व करते हैं जो चांद पर तिरंगा लहरा रही है। वो 15 लाख किलोमीटर की यात्रा करके सूर्य के पास जाकर मिशन आदित्य को सफल बना रही है, जो आसमान में तेजस और सागर में विक्रांत का परचम लहरा रही है।
The head of RSS, the Chief Minister and the Governor of the state of Uttar Pradesh witnessed the Pran Pratishtha ceremony. Over 7,000 guests watched the special ceremony in the temple premises, while millions around the world watched the much-anticipated event live on television.
It's been a day of rituals, celebrations and festivities here in the temple town of Ayodhya as it witnessed the grand consecration ceremony at the Ram Temple. The event was marked by fervent celebrations by the devotees who'd gathered here, not just from different parts of the state of Uttar Pradesh, but from different parts of the country. It's been called a national festival which saw the participation of temples from around the country through their organization of festivities and marking the significance of this grand occasion in their own special way. Maury Gambhir reporting from Ayodhya for WION The World is One.
Hindol Sengupta is a renowned historian and also a journalist, is now joining us live from New Delhi. Mr. Hindol Sengupta, welcome to the show and namaskar to you. What would you say is the significance of India building this huge temple, especially in Ayodhya, and what did this day mean to you?
Thanks for your question. This day will go down in Indian history as a remarkable day and as perhaps the most important day after the day India won independence, because today is really the beginning of the second republic in India. India's independence movement created the modern Indian nation state, and it had a particular nature and ethos and so on and so forth. But many elements of India's old civilization, many felt in the country, were not adequately reflected in that structure that was created at independence for the modern new Republic of India. Remember, that structure was borrowed, the Indian Constitution itself was borrowed in terms of its ideas from the Government of India Act of 1935, which was a colonial construct of the British. So, in a sense, India sought, or many Indians sought, a different framework of looking at their country. And today, I think they've been given that framework. India is transitioning from being a Westphalian, Western sort of nation state, as the West sees it, to becoming a more civilizational nation state, a nation state that derives its ideas not merely from its constitution, but from its old civilization. And India is becoming a civilizational state, and today marks the day when that transition towards a civilization state happens. The other thing is that India as a rising power seeks to become a great power. Great powers require grand narratives. America, when it was rising, told the world that it was a city upon the hill. Its very anthem spoke about the land of the brave, the land of the free and the home of the brave. India did not have a grand narrative. Merely the fact that it was diverse and secular was just not enough for many, many people. India needed a grand narrative, and a grand narrative based on its old history and civilization. The coming of the Ram Temple, the Ram Mandir, gives India that grand narrative which it can spread around the world. Remember, the Ramayana and the story of Ram is not just an Indian story. It actually is celebrated around Asia. It has a huge impact in many parts of the world, from Thailand to Trinidad and Tobago, Sri Lanka, to Japan, Korea, and so on and so forth, right? Okay. So this is a story that India can present as its own, moral framework, ethical framework, because that's what the story of the Ramayana really is, about a just king, so to speak. So this framework is very important for India to use as it seeks to become a global provider of moral and ethics, as it wants to transition from being a rising power to a great power. All of this put together, you have to understand and unpack to understand why today was so seminal. And Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, said today that a new Kal Chakra, a new time zone in a sense, was emerging. What is that time zone? It's the transition of the old Indian Republic of 1947 to the new Republic. This is the new Republic of India.
Mr. Sengupta, thank you very much for making time for us and for talking to WION World is One today.
Thank you very much.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.